What else?
Well, they could spend more money on skills training. They could spend more money on letting employers lock into the train to gain, and they could spend more money on PACE programs.
Well, this 280 million is reprofiled money. It's not new money. The Scottish Government will bring forward the reprofile programmes as and when it sees fit to maximise job creation in capital projects. Some of the matters raised by Mr Whitton are not capital projects. They would come out of revenue spending. So he's simply wrong about that.
Right. Okay. Now, the budget issue, this alleged hole, are we supposed to take that seriously?
Yes, extremely seriously indeed. I mean, this is a budget predicated on 300 billions of borrowing over the next 3 years and a doubling of the national debt thereafter. But we understand the IMF forecast for the recession is deeper than the government's forecast. The recovery is much shallower than the government's forecast. And right now, on day one after the pre-budget report, we have a black hole in the government's own forecasts of tens of billions over the next few years. I think the whole thing's beginning to unravel.
But hang on. I mean, what the Chancellor is saying is that they will try to make £5 billion of efficiency savings over the next few years, and that Scotland will have to accept a share of that. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Well, that's what they're saying, and if that does amount to somewhere close to 500 billion, obviously that'll be looked at. But of course, that'll be in addition to the loss of 120.
Well, hang on, but let's get this straight. So you don't have a problem with losing 500 billion?
I have a huge problem with it, and I'm about to explain it. Might not be just that. There might be the loss of another 129 million because of the change in the baseline in the English Health Department, which would be extremely worrying.
Do they have a point, do you think, in saying that they could lose £500 million?
Well, it depends on how you cut the budgets. I mean, we actually had a meeting with Jim Murphy today, as it happens, with the Labour group, and he was explaining to us that the conversations with the spending departments haven't started yet. They're about to start now. And it depends which budget you take the monies from. If you take it from devolved budgets like transport, health and so on, then there will be some consequences for Scotland. But if it comes off foreign affairs or social security, then it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, the principle of the thing, surely, though, Stuart Hosey, is if there are going to be cuts in, it's not cuts, it's reductions in expected expenditure because of efficiency savings, then it's perfectly reasonable that Scotland should have a knock-on effect from that. I mean, you'd be the first to complain if Scotland didn't get knock-on effects from increases in spending.
Well, that's absolutely right, but there will be real cuts if that is the level we're talking about. But, I think it's wrong this year of all years, record oil revenues of over 13 billion. Scotland's likely to be in absolute surplus in 08-09 when the UK is heading towards £1 trillion worth of debt.
Right.
And we're intended to share the pain.
Well, as the numbers get bigger, we'll have to give them a break and leave it there for just now. Thank you both very much indeed. Now, depending on your political viewpoint, it was a radical solution to solve an unprecedented problem, a blatant shift to the left away from New Labour middle ground policy, or a reckless gamble that will lead to £1 trillion public debt. But what will the Chancellor's pre-budget speech mean for Scotland? Our reporter Andy Castle's been trying to find